Well, it says we're up and going. So tonight's edition, I have to build this Continental, and I have to do it pretty rapidly. I started the wing over there. I don't like it. I decided I would go ahead and rebuild another one. And so far, I've cut out the stabilizer parts. I've made some new templates for ribs so we can do our wing. And basically what I'm doing tonight is just cutting pieces out, because I'm going to put this together in a rapid fashion. Not that it will be any worse, I mean, but once you have the parts cut out, it goes relatively easy. So we're making up some stencils. I need to get over to the hobby shop tomorrow and get some more material, some 16th inch plywood. I ran out of it for doublers. I almost feel like doing what I did the year I did the Aries, where I did it in 11 days and that was finished. The only thing is, I don't know, I just don't have the enthusiasm I had 10 years ago. Yeah, we don't want that one. We don't need that one. Construction on this model. These plans here are by Larry Cunningham. And I had some Bill Sawyer plans around. And then I have built them right out of the magazine. But because this is a customer airplane, I want it built to spec so they can't say, well, that's not exactly right. Whatever. On my airplane, a little different. So, if you ever used any of this template material, all you have to do is score it, and then the templates will punch out, and we'll be able to cut those first two out of plywood, and these are out of 1/8 inch. Rather boring watching me work, I understand. Not really, again, teaching anything. You're just hanging out with me. Dinner is in about an hour, so what I didn't like about the first wing is root and cord, or the root and tip, were not the correct dimensions. So it will be all right for some other project, but as I stated, this is a customer airplane, and I want it to be spot on when somebody that takes the plans and does the measurements on it. So what you do with this material here, pretty easy to work with this stuff. I can't believe how many people really do watch these things. I get emails all from people that you wouldn't believe. So what we end up with, I'll show these for the camera, is an accurate template of the part to be cut out. Just like I have the accurate template for the stabilizer and the elevator. So we'll make up all these templates, and I'll spend an hour or so cutting wood. So tomorrow I can just be gluing wood. I haven't done any woodwork in so long, I wondered if I could remember how to do it. But you figure, I've been building these stupid airplanes 50 years. If I forget how to do it, I'm kind of lame. For the modelers that are out of the hobby and happen to pick up watching this, and you're interested in coming back, if you did it as a kid and you did it for any length of time, no matter how long you've been away from this hobby, it will come back to you in the first laugh. However, some get dizzy. So if you get dizzy, don't be discouraged. I was kind of saddened to see Dave Cook had passed away. Didn't know him well, met him at the Nats a few times. Was trying to place exactly what made his name resonate in my brain. He was a pretty well-known stunt flyer on the East Coast. And even though I didn't know him very well, what's so sad is that the alarming rate that everybody's going away at. So hopefully my videos and I'd like to figure out some way to get the forum to continue on even after I'm gone, but hopefully my videos will inspire some young people to build airplanes. They've always been a big source of enjoyment to me, to create something from nothing. And in today's world, nobody makes anything. They want it on the computer and they want it instantaneous. I'm not even sure they know how to work with their hands anymore. When I was in high school, in my senior year, I had 5 periods of shop: auto shop, metal shop, wood shop, drafting, machine shop. That was 6th period. PE. That was my senior year of high school, because I had completed my requirements. And now they don't even teach shop. They're afraid somebody's going to stab somebody with a screwdriver. I don't know what the deal is. They might get hurt. Well, when I was a kid, I always saw my mother plugging something into the wall. And I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't know what she was doing. So I got me a bobby pin, and I shoved it into the wall socket, and it knocked me on my butt. And that only took one time. That is not a smart thing to do. But people don't have any common sense anymore. And they have to be told everything. I learned everything myself. I'm self-taught everything. How to paint, how to weld, mechanic, machinist. Later on I did get some formal schooling in these things, but self-taught everything. Okay, we have all the bulkhead patterns. Let's cut some wood, I guess. Lay out a fuselage side. I don't know. I think I'll cut the end of it off. I'd like to do an 11-day project. For the simple fact they've been dillying around with this for so long. Been hung up painting airplanes, and I had this in the works before I took the airplane project, but so I have to get this done. I'm going to deliver this probably at the Nats, maybe even Brodak, I don't know. I definitely want to get some pieces cut. I see time to time people are popping in and out, 1 and 2 viewers. I think on this stream, what I'm going to do is I'll run it as I build this airplane, and we'll see how long it really takes to build this thing. Okay, I got some wood picked out here. Oh, wait a minute. I have some parts cut already. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I have pieces cut, and I have the wood. Let's see, that's this one that's going to fit. Yep. So that's a good thing. Let's see what else I got cut up here. Yeah, that was great. Good thing you guys couldn't see that. I dropped out the big pile of push rods all over the floor. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? This is 16, 3/32. We'll make it an eighth. F2. That's got to be plywood, so we need this piece here. Sure wish my shop was bigger, but there have been a lot of nice airplanes come out of this shop in 10 years. It has been more than that. 15 years I've been working in this shop. So we got that. Get the square out here. No questions. Okay. Come on. I know it's got to be here right in front of me. Oh, I knew it. This is beyond ridiculous. Kids are out tonight. Any question, just type it in. These movies are extremely boring, I know for sure. I'm waiting for my friend from 50 years ago, actually 45 years ago. Let me see when that was. Let's see, 2016 minus 69, 5. This is 0. Could be a 9. Could be an 8. A friend of mine from 45 years ago will probably come on here and watch this and recognize this airplane. Because he was around when this was designed. It's hard to believe that 45 years later, I'd run into the same people that I did this with. There was another kid I used to fly with, Rob Gow, Ken Pasco, Danny Napolitano. I haven't caught back up with those guys, but so we got this one done. I'll do this. These two are plywood. This one, we'll do this one here. The guy that from 45 years ago may not recognize the airplane from the pieces yet, but he will definitely recognize it when I pull the plans out, because he was there when the originals were designed. Oh, and for that person that I couldn't remember the name of the guy, Norm Whittle. Norm Whittle. He lived here in St. Louis for a while. He flew an Eagle. Haven't seen him in a while. But he was the designer of the Playboy. And this airplane was designed after the Playboy. Story goes, Tom bought the Playboy and reverse engineered it. One last piece and we're done with this. Now I got some pictures from Tom Morris, how he does his crutch fuselages, and because Tom builds, 15 airplanes at a time, or maybe not builds them, but he kits them or whatever, he cuts all the pieces 2 and 3 at a time, and that would be all right if you were mass producing these things, but I'm not mass producing. I'm just building one-offs. See, we got 5 in the room. Welcome. As stated before, if you got a question, just type it in the chat box on YouTube. I'm looking at my computer here on the desk. I'll go ahead and answer the question. I'm sure that most won't hang around long. Yeah, there goes some already. Because this is old hat and extremely boring. But it gives me something to do while I'm building. Talk to you guys. If you want to know why I use the square, if you take this piece of wood and you hold it up there like so and sand up to the square, you have a perfect 90 degree. So that's why I do that. So you got a perfect 90 degree, so the fuselage will stay square on the bench. The fuselage won't be leaning like that. Just a trick. There are no questions or stupid questions. Just only stupid question is the one you don't ask. These notches that are cut in to the former are for 1/4-inch stringers. This airplane is a very unique airplane. It has a real shapely fuselage. And if you don't put these stringers in there, what happens, you would be sanding that round and you'll sand a big hole into the fuselage. So I never used to do this, but once you get the outside sanded to your shape, you take the top off and you sand the inside so that it becomes an eggshell. You sand away all the stringer. It makes it a lot lighter, and I don't know, just makes it a lot lighter. All that wood that you take away, you add in paint. So now we got the fuselage pieces done, except for the two plywood parts. Let's put these stencils over here. I've also ended up getting some real nice blocks. Top block is a 1-inch by 3 by 36, and the bottom is a 3/4 by 3 by 36. And these particular blocks are in the 4-pound range. This is 85 grams, and this is 124 grams. So we're going to whittle most of that away. And hollow it out. Let's see here. I guess we could cut the rudder pieces. I already have the doublers. And I'll wait on cutting that. I'll do that on the bandsaw off camera. So these need to draw them out on the plywood. Now, in the old days, I would always make the doublers aircraft plywood, 5-ply plywood, but light ply is good enough. I haven't had any trouble with light ply whatsoever. So we're gonna get my picture. We got Super Tiger 46 here. That should do it, hopefully. Before I put that together, I'll have to put the engine bearers on, so maybe I better not cut that yet. I'll just cut the square. Everybody bored to death yet? I'm going to wait to cut those notches till tomorrow when I get some motor mount material. I want to make sure that when I build the crutch, it's cut to the right. Width. So we'll wait on those. Okay, so we got those pieces cut. I guess I could show how I do my shaping of the elevator stabilizer one more time. Okay, I just used the finger method. We're going to make a center line on this. I've been tempted to glue two pieces of 5/8 together. I've been meaning to do this 20 years. But let's say this piece was 5/8 of an inch thick and this was 5/8 of an inch thick, and glue them together, tack them together like so, and then sand the whole thing into a great big airfoil. I think that would look so cool. It would do absolutely nothing aerodynamically, I don't believe. But it sure looked cool. All painted up, sitting on the flight line. So, I got my my lines in this. Let's grab the block plane. If I can find it. A square here. There's that other square I was looking for yesterday. Come on. Got the big long blade. Looks like it's time to clean the shop once again. So I really can't find anything. Nope. wasn't going to be in this drawer, and all why I opened it. What did I do with that block plane? It makes it go so much faster. What the heck? I have to keep looking for the plane. I'll have it done by the time I find it. One more try on this drawer, and then we'll go ahead. I'm not happy. Where did I put the darn thing? Well, I can't find my block plane, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, just with a knife. I'd much rather use the plane. But we'll get it with this. There's the plane on the ground. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, I got the block plane set. I usually only set this so it's, it's only a few thousandths. It's probably, I don't know, 15 thousandths. Okay, we got the leading edge roughed in. This is 30 grit sandpaper, and we're rolling. I don't know that I can explain this or not. I'm rolling the block from the front to the back. So I'm trying to arch this so that I'm trying to sand an airfoil basically into it. You just don't want to make a round leading edge unless that's how you want it. That's how I want it. So a few swipes with 30 grit to get it close. I mean, this stuff it goes so fast. By the time I explain how to do it, I got it done. So now I'm going to switch up to the 80 grit block, and more or less cleaning it up. Sanding is it's an art, and I'm not the best sander. We got one guy around here, a buddy of mine, who's really a good sander, good shaper. But he was taught by Tucker, who is supposedly one of the best. I don't know. And of course, we're going to do that on the on the elevator too. Now the tips on these, because they go around, are a little more difficult, and they have to be done together. They can't, and I've done it so many times that, you know, I know about what it should look like, but it's best to do it together. What I'll do is I'll tack this piece onto here, and we'll shape this all together. So, in just a few minutes, I've roughed out the leading edge of this. And I'll switch up to 320 here and finish it. Well, not now. All that's left to do is hit it with 320. Keep an eye on it so you're not sanding a big valley in it. I'm gonna have to get my duct tape up there. This bench I'm working on is a Harbor Freight bamboo bench. I think they're about $139, and it's a really good bench, except for the drawer slides, and I just haven't had the money to get new drawer slides. And the drawers keep popping open. That's pretty good. So now we'll do this. And basically that's the same way. Really simple. Only with this you want to taper about halfway back. We're going to taper this back to about right here, or you can sand it in there, but because you definitely want some shape in these. You don't, at least I do. I don't particularly care for the rod method, but if that's how you like to do it, knock yourself out. If you look at my S6B, the elevator and stabilizer on it, it's shaped in a nice airfoil, and the light catches it so nice. When they're flat, they don't. They just look like a flat side of a car. Now, you probably can't see it on this camera, but if you look at it, it's already got an airfoil on it. And we'll finish the airfoil out with sandpaper. Always a block. If you hear that high-pitched grinding, that's because I soaked this tip in CA. these tips are very prone to breaking off. Once again, any questions for the new guys, just type them into the, you have to be watching on YouTube, but type them into the chat box on YouTube, any of the questions, and I'll read it and then answer it. We're looking for about 1.5 ounces on an elevator stabilizer. Now I don't want to sand this round here yet because I'm going to be tacking it on. Maybe not. I don't know. No, I guess I won't tack it on. I'll just round it up. I've got it so close now. As I've said, I've done this so much that yeah, I can get it pretty close. Okay, this side's close. Just finish this side off there. It'd be nice if this stuff did it itself. I didn't have to do this. Pretty straight. So, I don't know if you can see it again, but if you see the airfoil on it, it's symmetrical. And it didn't take but a few strokes of the plane, and that 30 grit sandpaper really. This piece of 30 grit sandpaper is 15 years old. First off, it came from a body shop. Let's see exactly how old it is. 99. It's 14 years old. You use it on balsa wood only. You're not, so it doesn't get dull. Just got to be careful with it because it will dig a hole. So that's that. Let's do the other one now. Bored to death yet? Sometimes I put 2 lines on it. This time I didn't. Depends. You'll notice though, even though this plane is set at 15 thousandths or 10 thousandths or whatever it is, it's not very much. It does not take much to do the job when it's set like that. If you set it at 1/16 of an inch or 32nd of an inch or what have you, it makes it very difficult to operate the plane. So that's that. Got it roughed in, 30 grit sandpaper. We're sanding that airfoil in. I think the best way to explain it is I'm pushing down hard on the exit and letting it up easy on the apex. So I push down hard when it's coming to the trailing edge, the exit, and lightly as I go to the top, or the high point of the airfoil. And you want to keep Xing the sanding pattern this way and this way. And the longer you draw the strokes, the more symmetrical the airfoil will be. Meaning if you make a nice long stroke like that, you'll get a more symmetrical airfoil than if you just do a short stroke. That's that side. I think sanding is probably the hardest thing to teach. Something that, first off, you gotta like doing it. And second off, I'm not sure that I could teach it over the computer. I mean, I'm hoping that you guys get the idea. This is 50 years of practice. That's all I can explain to you. And eyeball it up. If I were to get a kid in here, you know, and show them how to sand, I certainly wouldn't expect them to be able to sand an airfoil like this when it's taken me a lifetime to be proficient at it. Then we're going to sand this leading edge around. And we'll set my hinges in there. I'm not going to do a concave trailing edge on this. I don't think. I don't know. I might. You never know. I kind of hate doing stuff halfway. Even though this is not my airplane. Smells like dinner's almost ready. I'll be taking a break at dinner time, about an hour, and then I'll come back and I'll start the stream again. I don't know when dinner is, but she said it was 45 minutes. I don't know how long we've been running, but for those who just joining the stream, welcome. What we're doing tonight is cutting parts, and I decided I would put the airfoils on the stabilizer and the elevator. One thing I'd like to say, if you're just joining this stream, when this stream is over, if you come back and look at my recent uploads on my channel, the whole stream is available. It's not, you didn't miss anything. Of course, even if you watch the whole thing, you didn't miss anything. So when I shut it off, you could probably back this up now because it's set up. So if you slide it back and rewind it, you can see how I did this. I had to figure out some way to mention that. Okay, so now I've got the airfoils on the leading edge, and I've got these airfoiled up pretty good. I'm going to get some 320 on my hand. I just put this in my hand. And we'll kind of finish these off by hand. I thought Jim was pretty funny the other day when he said the only thing more boring than watching me sand is watching him sand. When you do this, you sand with 320 until the 80 grit scratches come out, and this piece is finished. It's done. It's not not like I got to come back and sand it again. It's ready for tissue because it's already airfoiled, it's shaped, and as long as I don't put any fingernail dings in it, like I did just there. It's done. I'm going to screen this whole airplane, I guess. We'll see how long it takes to do. So if you want to be bored, we'll let her rip. And at the end of this, I'll put it all together and you can watch it from beginning to end. It'll be a 30-hour, I figure I can do this maybe 40 hours. It'll be a 40-hour long video. We have these two pieces done, fellas. And this. Now, there's some lines here. We're not going to sand them off because I want these edges to fit perfectly. So it's going to take some jostling. I want to see what this weighs. Our weight here . 1.85. We're 4/10 away from my goal. I like to have it at 1 3/4 plus the horn. That's still pretty heavy. I'd like it lighter, but ain't gonna happen. So now, in order to make these fit perfect, it's gonna take some jostling. So let's see, I had another. Had a short. Yeah, I guess I just used the long one. So okay, I need to make the tip come down to there. So how am I going to do that? as I stated, I would normally have this on and hinged, but I've done this so many times, I got a pretty good idea what it's supposed to look like. And we'll touch it up after it's hinged. That's pretty close. So that's the elevator stabilizer. One side. We got it pretty close, so now let's mark these. So we got this is the right, so we'll put R on it. Our outboard. That way when I come back to match them up, they'll go on and fit perfect. Because even if you make them the same, you can't make two pieces exactly the same. So you make each one fit each side. Just doesn't work that way. And they're close, but okay. Now most people, in order to tighten up the joint, would be sanding on this trailing edge, but that's not how it works. I'm surprised nobody's called me out on 30 grit sandpaper yet. But that's what I use. You can't get much tighter joint than that. So the biggest thing with sanding is knowing what grit sandpaper to use. Now, if we're using 220, it would take all night to do. And not come out as good. I have some 220 and 180, but I very rarely use it. It's always 30 grit or 80 grit and 320, depending on that's for balsa wood. If I'm doing fillets or something, we'll use some 220. Now, here again, I've done this so many times. I know all about these little tangs there. And yeah, I can repair them. Last year at Brodax, I knocked one of those tangs off my airplane and I don't know, just about had a conniption, but I repaired it when I got home. So I hardened them up with CA. And that's still no guarantee that it'll stay on there, but and they're pretty close, the same. I dropped a little bit of CA on there. Three people watching now. Type those questions into the chat box on YouTube. Very hard for me to talk for 2 hours straight with nobody to talk back to. So, I am going to take a break. I'm going to eat dinner. I'll be back in an hour or so, so stay tuned.